Did you get a new chair?
Yeah,
Nice.
it doesn't squeal.
Nice. It looks comfy.
It is. It was a gift. It was a birthday gift from my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and family friend. So
Nice. That old one was just gonna give out. And have you ever seen that video where that guy sits down on the stool and it busts and the metal pole goes up to center? I think it's probably a gag, but he took it like a champ. So I don't know.
honestly, I was waiting for it to give out and just collapse backwards. That's what usually happens. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there before when I was at a Wendy's one time and I was getting my fatty on hard and the chair gave out on me. Mid nugget, just oh god,
Get-
mid nugget, man. I did get a chance. Sorry, working on my lighting a little bit. I did get a chance to watch 18 and Kills. I got to Kills all the way to the end to the merry-go-round Kills, and then I at the very very end, the stupid way they shot it. Man, the stuff I like about it, we'll get there. But the stuff I like about it even more. The things I hate even more. Every time something I hate pops off, it's like a sledgehammer hitting me like right in the bridge of the nose every time. It's terrible, but
Yeah, Evil Dies Tonight is really exhausting, and I swear if anybody says that and Halloween ends, I'm walking out of the theater.
hopefully they got that out of their system. So how we've been going about this is we do a little bit of the budget, where everything originated from, where it started from. That's kind of when I was doing that research, when I was looking that up, I noticed that, like I've talked about, where every movie kind of poops on the previous movie's ending. It's funny how this comes into like it's just chasing money. It's like what do they say in Spaceball? Spaceball 2, the search for more money. That's really what we're focusing on. And a lot of it is them chasing after Jamie Lee Curtis and John Carpenter. And whether they get them or not affects the box office pretty hardcore.
I would have to say though, the original Halloween plans before this got greenlit, Halloween 3D. I remember when I first read about Halloween 3D being a thing, I didn't want it because I was thinking My Bloody Valentine 3D, Saw 3D, all these other 3D movies that weren't necessarily bad, but I didn't want to see Halloween go there. Like My Bloody Valentine 3D is, if you go back and watch it now, it's actually not that bad. I remember when it first came out, I thought it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I liked it.
I just, especially at the time, because they were keeping it under wraps, I was picturing that PG-13 horror for the Rob Zombie Halloween films, and I was like, you can't do that to it. There's no way. It doesn't work. So I don't know. I find it weird that we wound up where we are.
Right.
Especially when the studio was pushing for Halloween 3 so hard.
Right. Well, so let's rehash real quick. Let's go back to the first movie, right? So independent, low budget, by Compass International, it blows the doors off, right? Out of a $320-ish million or $320,000 budget, it makes $700+ million. I think it was no, I'm sorry. God, I'm sorry. Numbers, math. I've been out in the field all day, so my brain's cooked. Sorry, $320,000-ish, and it makes $75 million.
Yeah.
So with the $75 million budget, they go to H2. They get John Carpenter back. They get Jamie Lee Curtis back. Everybody gets a better payday. And then after that, I'm done. Wash my hands of it. I don't want to do any more Halloween stuff. They go to Halloween 3, and they poop the bed hard between lots of mistakes. Mostly it's bad advertising. Mostly it's just not what people wanted. It might have been ahead of its time, and it might have been late for its time. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different excuses. So they sell the rights. John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, they sell the rights. Compass goes to Canon, which would have been nuts. Canon wanted that for Leatherface, Halloween, Michael Myers mashup. Thank God that didn't happen. They sold it to Trancas. Trancas does 4 and 5. 4 had that, what was a 7-year gap from 2, and you're bringing back Michael Myers, so it's got some hype to it. It's on the downward trend of horror, but it gets that last little breath, right? Like Child's Play came out the same year, I think, 88, right? Anyway, Hellraiser, all about that time, 87. So it's getting a slight last little breath before it dies. And so then they do 4, and then 4 makes a ton of money, so they rush into 5, right? So you rush into 5, and then they poop the bed in 5. So it's so funny to watch this stuff of just chasing money, and they just can never seem to land it. Where it's just ridiculous. So sorry, I'm trying to get back where I was at. So 4 would make, out of a $5 million budget, it would make 17.5-ish. 5 with a 5.5-ish would make 11, so big drop, relatively big drop. And then so they sell to Miramax. So I believe 93-ish or so, Miramax, owned by Disney, whatever, buys the rights, and then they pump out H6 with Dimension as an extension. It really seals the deal and poops the bed at a $5 million budget. So they lower it again, and it gets 15. So it does a little bit better than H5, but again, it has a bit better of a bit of a gap. You know what I mean? It's got some hype built around it. A big cliffhanger from 5, and then they Dimension basically takes sole property of it and does well, it does 6, 7, and 8. So it goes back to the basics, gets Jamie Lee Curtis back, pumps out $70-ish million movie. So it's a success, big success. Resurrection comes out and then does about half that. It poops the bed. So what do we do? We go to Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie makes a ton of money. Great. You know, out of $15 million, it makes 80. So it does even better than some of the rest, most of the rest. Then it goes to H2 and gets less than half of that at like 36. And so they go, I don't know what to do. So then they go into 3D. They immediately release H2 and they go, we got to do 3D. And then that gets talked about, blah, blah, blah. A couple years goes by. They call Scout Taylor Compton and they call Tyler Mane, and they're set, ready to go for the most part. You know, I think they even got a little bit of a script. I think they did. And then it gets canceled. And then they want to do the Halloween Returns, which was like 2 weeks or so from being greenlit overseas, and Malek Akkad shuts it down because he doesn't want it filmed overseas. He wants it filmed in America. So then the rights revert from Dimension. All that nastiness stuff goes down with the Weinsteins. It reverts. It goes back to Miramax. We shop around. We end up on Blumhouse, David Gordon Green, all that good stuff. You know, Trancas International still attached to it. Universal Picture, Blumhouse, all good things are coming. You got David Gordon Green, lots of passion. He talks to John Carpenter directly, who turns it down, wants nothing to do with it. He gets John Carpenter on board. Jamie Lee Curtis wants nothing to do with it. He finally, in a roundabout way, gets to talk to her. She's on board very quickly, and away we go. The movie gets some money behind it. And it just blows the doors off of. I mean, I would assume with 2017's It, they knew that horror was hot again, that it was going to make some money if they invested good money in it. They only put about $10 million in it, which is weird because that's, with inflation and everything, that's less than Resurrection got, that's less than H2O got. It's really strange. Jamie Lee Curtis took I think it was like $40,000 pay, but she had a big pay on the back end. She donated some of her money, I know. Like, I think her paycheck for doing the movie, she donated, which is cool. And then she got the back end, which was millions upon millions, I'm sure. But it blows the doors off with $250 million. I will admit that I was a part of the hype train. This is right before we started our channel. And it just really got me going, and it was good for horror. 2017's It was really good for horror. This is good for horror. Stranger Things.
I was 50-50 on Halloween 2018 because I think it was, at the time, I wanted it to be left alone because I felt like we were just going to wind up treading old waters.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I was excited to see Michael Myers on the big screen again, but I was really cautious about how it was going to be what are we getting another H2O? Are we getting a new reboot version? And then, oh, well, we're going to cut out all of the sequels, including 2, which I think made most of the fans at the time before it was released go, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. That's a fan favorite sequel. How are you going to cut that out? And I remember the hype about how they were going to do it to rewrite the ending of 1978's Halloween and all this, and it was never ending. I mean, it wasn't as bad as like blogs and stuff around the time of Freddy versus Jason, but it was up there with that. Like it was crazy. So
Yeah, thank God they brought John Carpenter on board, because there was actually, like, originally what they wanted to do was have Michael go off the balcony in 78, and then they would open up with Donald Pleasance and Loomis going downstairs, not, the character, sorry, Loomis going downstairs, and Michael would choke him to death and kill him on the front lawn right after 78. So not only are you ripping H2 out of the canon, then you would kill off one of the most beloved characters that's even more loved than Laurie Strode. Like, I think he's more loved than Laurie Strode. I think that would have pissed off fans next level. So I'm glad they decided not to do that. The music, the music, the score, all that stuff is probably, in 2018, is probably the best of the entire franchise. It goes back to basics. They got rid of 2 because John Carpenter never liked the family angle. I don't like the family angle. The reasons why I don't like it is because, like I've talked about before, Halloween is a shtick. It has to take place, for the most part, on Halloween. It's Michael Myers, for the most part. He's the only one doing the killings. So you got one day, one night, one person, and then you put the family angle, and it's fine. It works for a little bit. But it's a shtick that only works for a couple movies.
Sorry, I gotta fix my lighting.
So you're good.
Yeah, it. I don't know. We're getting into that. Oh my God, it's a wiring nightmare over here. Uh-oh.
It was nice that at least this one had one mask, stayed the whole time, and we didn't have an H2O situation.
I mean, it would have been kind of cool to see an older mask. I get that they were trying to go for, the classic-esque.
Yeah, to me, this mask doesn't quite get the original mask. Like, the eyes are a little off. The mouth is off. Like, it doesn't, it's fine. I like it. I don't know where it would rank. We'll have to do that maybe next week, couple weeks. I really have to do some soul searching on that, kind of figure out where the mask goes. I do like it more when it's burnt, but yeah. So it's weird because now we have this is where the timelines just go wonky. Again, this feels like this is a bad analogy, but this feels like the Cowboys of sports teams, where you were big in the 80s and the early 90s, and then all of a sudden you just started pumping out free agents and like, well, we'll pay a ton of money and we'll try this and we'll try that. And it just kept getting jacked around. And I'm kind of surprised that calling it Halloween in 2018, which is stupid. I absolutely hate it's just called Halloween. I get it from a marketing standpoint, but I just hate it as a fan. I think it's so lazy.
Yeah. 2007 Mask was the most intimidating, creepiest of them all. It's up there for me. We'll get there one day. Let's celebrate, you guys. I work at FedEx, and I hate it.
Yeah. I've had a few jobs, and the horrible thing about realizing and being an adult and having a full-time job and then having responsibilities, the worst thing to realize is that most people don't like their jobs, and the grass is not always greener. Like, I've left one job for another, and for the most part, they have been getting a little bit better, just, managers and time and stuff like that. But yeah, it sucks to suck. Well, it sucks to have sucky jobs. But I do have some friends. I have some friends like Matt and my buddy Adam, who are doing their dream job, and like even my wife doing their dream job. They're really good at it. They get paid. Like it's kind of cool to know at least that some people have made it. Like it's just kind of nice that it is real. Like for some people it does happen. So that's cool. But 2018 Mask wasn't a focus. Sorry, man. Your checkers. I can't read it. I'm sorry.
It wasn't a focus for me. It was good and not a distraction, unlike many of the movies.
Yeah.
It bugged me because I know how latex deteriorates, and the 2018 Mask is not it. 07 is much closer to a realistic decaying latex. So although I think that the 2018 Mask isn't bad, it just, to me, it looks like it was sculpted to be an old man face, because that's not how latex breaks down.
Well, that's the problem is, once again, it's like what looks good and what makes sense. And sometimes when it comes to movies, you kind of have to just go with what looks good. You know what I mean? Like action scenes, stuff like that, how things fall into place. Like it sucks when you have to sacrifice quality for what looks good. But yeah, and it's also a difference between Rob Zombie's Halloween, where it's 15 years in a floor and it's never been touched, and then it's and 18, it's 40 years later, and the thing has probably been jacked around in an evidence locker, possibly. This dude's holding it by the hair, and like just it's in a bag. Like it's a bit different. But anyway, go back to 18 in the beginning. So we go back to basics. We completely strip away the nonsense of he's supernatural. Like it's coming back to that like flavor of supernatural, slight supernatural edge, like maybe a possessed spiritual a little bit, like here, not there. It's the fear factor that gives him power. You know what I mean? Like he's got
a little bit of inhuman strength with a stalker-esque appearance like in the original. So it's maybe supernatural, maybe not supernatural, but David Gordon Green and company said that they were going back to basics and getting rid of supernatural. I will die on this hill.
Yeah, that's the thing that sucks, is with the flavor shift, and we talked about that in our spoiler kills thing last year. But yeah, so it's just nice to shed. It goes back to the original intent of the character. And like I've always said, how I justify the difference between Halloween 78, 81, I think that H2O kind of uses an in-between feel of 78 and 81. You know what I mean? It gets that brutality, but at the same time, it's very subtle. It's very off-screen kills kind of esque. With this movie, with the franchise, I've always thought as Michael Myers is that, like, you try, like, I'm watching Breaking Bad right now, so, you try meth that one time, it's just a little bit, and then you need it more and more and more, and you get, like, I feel like Michael Myers is a cocaine addict. Like, you need more, so, like, every time, you know what I mean? It's like a drug. You've got to kill more to suppress it. You got to kill more and more and more, and it's not just about the lurking and the build to the kill anymore. It's that I want that instant gratification kill. So, to me, that change from 78 to 18 is if you got rid of the obsessed with one character, this is what Michael Myers would be. When I met James Jude Courtney in 2019, when we went to 2019, I even told him I was a sweetheart of a guy. I even told him, I was like, this is how I feel a progression, a pent up 40 years later Michael Myers would be. If you sat him and he had to stare at that wall thinking about the only few kills he got, this is how he would be. So on the negative side of that, Michael Myers is the bat signal in the sky. He is the best part of 2018. The downside, and that the cracks that start to show with 2018 are the Laurie Strode, the daughter, some of the dumb characters on the side. And now some people are traumatized different than others. Like one night, Jamie Lee Curtis saw Michael Myers from when she walks upstairs and sees the dead bodies to when Loomis shoots him off the wall. Like, because we deleted 2, all that's gone. So I just don't know if that you would completely compound yourself, cut yourself off, like be totally about survival, like just to where you're non-functioning. Like I could see that as being a hobby, but not a fully fledged Sarah Connor, the world's gonna end. Like I feel like her portrayal in H2O, now that I pull back from it a little bit, H2O had it included 81, but it really was it was like the Black Stepchild. They didn't want to talk about it, but they left it in there. Like for the most part, they just brushed past it. Same thing with H4. They just kind of brushed past it. They want to highlight 78's goodness, and then that's where they go. So I do think H2O has gotten a little bit worse over time, but there has been some merits from the new sequels. But Jamie Lee Curtis is a strong actress. She is good in 18. She's wasted. And once again, we go back and we look at what happened. And in 78, she's a highlight, right? She gets all the good stuff towards the end and everything else. And in 81, she's locked down to a bed. We would see that happen again. It's just weird how just rinse and repeat, use what works, throw away what doesn't. The brutality of once Michael is unchained is just awesome. You know what I mean? And then some of the things that you see in 18, they do capitalize on in Kills. Like, how does he get out of the basement? It shows you in Kills. The doctor and the nurse couple and stuff like that. You see them, and then you get a better payoff with those characters. The gal, the graveyard gal, she's in Kills. Like, they really do make you feel like this is a small town, and it has a community that has been haunted but forgot. But then when the stuff goes down, they band together. A little too much. I think it goes too far in Kills, but again, we'll get there. I thought that when you watch the pace, it is so fast. It is Michael Myers is out, kill, 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 kill. You got the Sartain thing, the Sartain twist, which a lot of people hate. I don't know. I don't like the Hawkins part of it, but then you get him to the cops. These cops do a really good job of being kind of the everyday, kind of relaxed, not have a care of the world, and then they get beast moded hardcore. I think it was a very big missed opportunity with Ray when he talks about peanut butter on my penis, and when he talks about, I know jujitsu, I can take care of my family. I really, really wish we would have had a Buster Rhymes moment where he would have squared up on Michael, tried to roundhouse kick him, and Michael grabs him midair with his leg and just breaks him in half, kind of like in Freddy vs. Jason with that bed kill. I think that would have been a perfect moment where you've capitalized on. There's a lot of callbacks in 18, which doesn't bother me really because it's done pretty well. It flows well with everything. But I just think you really missed that opportunity right there to just break Ray in half. The brutality of Michael once he's in the house and he gets a hold of Laurie Strode is just awesome. I do think they show a little too much of Michael. Like, there's not as much like there and not there. You see him walking to the garage, you know what I mean, to get the hammer. You see him coming out of the house down the steps. And I love how, like, in this one and in Kills with the flashback scene, when Hawkins goes in there and shoots at him, it's just like, Michael, and then like Michael's like, nope, see you later, big gulps. Like he can't shoot him, and he just keeps going out. There's some weird subtle humor to it. I think I hate the babysitter kill where she slips and falls. That slip and fall was kind of stupid, but the kill was cool. I mean, they nailed the mask, they nailed the kills. I do like the house situation final ending. I like the twist where Laurie falls off the balcony and he looks down. I thought that was cool. I hate the Happy Halloween Michael. It's just so stupid. Like, this serious stuff is going down and you pause. Like, she could have said, like, boo, but that's like a stupid Buster Rhymes moment right there with the Happy Halloween Michael. She should have just killed him or something. I don't know. But
this makes me think, catchphrase.
Yeah, it's just like, what? Really? Like, really? Right now? Just stab him in the head and be done with it.
Dude, so Halloween 2018, I do think, all in all, was a phenomenal sequel as far as sequels to the original go. Like, yeah, they did a really good job with what they had. And the first time I watched it, I was kind of baseline. I was like, okay, I don't hate it, but I don't necessarily love it. The more I watched it, the more that one grew on me a lot. I still personally think Halloween 2 is the better direct sequel. We've had that conversation on here, and but I think that, like you said, Myers sitting for 40 years, which, why? Okay, just the one, my biggest problem with Halloween 2018 is, other than convenience of releasing a movie and getting paid, why 40 years later? Like, it's not like, yeah,
right.
And I think Halloween Ends is going to try and answer that, and it's going to do a poor job at it. It doesn't. That's my biggest problem. That and Sartain, just the twist doesn't work as well for me. I do like the idea that Sartain he has his own agenda with Michael, but I feel like it was way over the top.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the original, and I could be wrong here, I don't know if there's any proof to this, but I think the original intent was to have Lori crash the bus. But the problem is there is like, how does she get away? Like, and then you turn your heroine into a villain. You know, I think it's something where they had to have a plot device to get that to work. I do like the flip side of the coin of Loomis. Like, Loomis knew he was evil and it needed to be stopped. And that was his obsession. And then with Sartain, Loomis did his thing. I need to do my thing. Like, you didn't get anything this way, I need to go this way. So I kind of get that. If you listen to how Sartain talks in 2018, there's a lot of hints at like a possession kind of a thing. Like was Michael possessed? Like, what drives him to kill? It's almost like the writers are telling you that we are going to explain this. So that does make me kind of scared for Ends. I want to know what pleasure he gets. That also kind of that makes me wonder if there's some kind of, with this possession and stuff like this, with this evil entity, maybe possible thing, was Sartain like seduced by that or something? Was there a big, like you're saying, was there a big like 40 years like alignment in the stars that made everybody go wonky and everybody stupid in kills where they can't figure out how to operate anything or like make any decisions that make sense? Deb brings up a really good part right here, man. This is my actual favorite part of 2018. Agreed. Is the yard sensors.
Yep, absolutely agreed. The way it was played, it was perfect. I don't know if it was scripted to be that great, but in the theater, the first time, I think I saw it in theaters 3 times, maybe 4. Each time I saw it, that scene was definitely one that pulled me in the moment. Like, it took me out of the room in the theater to that moment.
And then you got Allison coming back. And then like the shape hunts Allison, the music that comes in. Like, I'm not doing it injustice, but it's just baller. Like, the best. That's probably the best thing in all Halloween. Like, absolutely. Now you take that for granted because we've listened to so much in the past. Like, if you listen to 78 the first time, it's probably still the best. But that moment's awesome. Unfortunately, that doesn't go anywhere. But yeah, that sensor scene is amazing. Poor Oscar, man. He put himself out there. He went a little too far across the line. It sucks that, buddy, you were in the friend zone. You were going nowhere. I did get to meet him in 2019 as well, and I was sad that Cameron got to live and he died. And I was like, what's up with that, man? You didn't get the girl and they killed you off? It sucks. And he was a good sport about it, too. I didn't even pay for him. I just rolled up to him and said, hello, I love what you do, and we just had a little conversation. So the guy who played Oscar was really cool, and he was in Fear Street, too. But anyway, yeah, the final fight scene, to me, I have problems with it the more I've watched it, because I'm not a hunter, but when you set a trap, you don't go after what you're hunting. Like, you don't go after it. You let it come to you. So when she is going out and she's going into tight quarters and she's locking the doors, and of course Michael's in the one room with like a ton of crap in it, I thought that was kind of dumb. There had to be a better way.
I always thought when she was doing that, close all the gates first, get your lights on, and wait for them to show up at the gate door, and then blast them.
Yeah.
That problem solved.
Right. That's why I was like, you've gone through all this extreme, and this is the best plan you've got, is to somehow get him in the basement, so that means you have to do this. And like, whatever. But no, and another thing that, now here's a detractor from Kills, and I'm going to let you tackle most of that, but the detractor from Kills is that Michael is like in the original, he's super strength, right? Like, he picks up Bob and like stabs him to the wall. Like, he's very strong, but we don't know to the extent. This Michael Myers, per Kills, shows you how powerful he is. Like, there's no stopping him. Like, I'd say he's probably on the level of Tyler Mane. Not the intensity, but the strength could be measured equally. So when he gets Lori up against the wall and he's choking her with the shotgun rifle, which is also stupid. She before that, she talks about tactical with the shotgun, and then she takes the huge rifle and she's going out there. I was like, we just talked about tactical, and that's not tactical. I don't know. And then Karen picks up a rifle, a bolt action rifle with a scope. I'm like, it's dark. It's bolt action. That's stupid. I get it. It has her initials. I don't know. It's stupid. But yeah, when he gets her up against the wall and he's crushing her throat, I think she's dead. Like, I get that when in the door, the shotgun, he let go. I get that. But I was like, she would be dead if he got a hold of her like that. I do like that he stabs her, throws her over the balcony, like I said. The ending, stupid with Happy Halloween. But when he gets knocked down the steps, man, and they're like going up the steps, and he lurches forward super fast. You know, in the original, it was just smooth, right? It was just so smooth. But this one, he just fully snaps forward, and it's awesome. And then him slowly coming up the stairs, right? The fire eventually is coming around him, dude. He's not even phased. He's not even flinching. He's staring him down. I just love this ending. Like, I think somebody did probably need to die. But I just thought the music's coming on. The house is on fire. They actually burnt that house down. They had one shot at it, apparently. Like, I don't know. I was a big fan of this ending. Cameron wasn't any better. I guess Cameron was a good dude if he wasn't drinking, so there is that. I liked how she I liked how boyfriend her house to seal off each room. Whoa, I liked how she booby trap. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't read her house to seal off each. I did like that. Yeah, I just thought, like, you know, there could have been like some sensors, some like light sensors. She turns off all the lights, he goes into a room, the light sensor goes off, like stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. If I remember right, I was like the 22 with the scope. I wouldn't do anything. Yeah, I was like, I just don't understand. Like, the dumbest gun in the basement. That's what you get.
The 78 creeped me out. This Michael scared me. Like the original, or like the 78 in Halloween Kills.
78 creeped me out. This Michael scared me. Yeah, no, she's talking about 18. How 18 scared her. Yeah, 18 is, I think, with Kills, with the addition of Kills, because it sucks because we talk about like not wanting to jolt around Michael Myers, right? We want a good solid line of what to expect of Michael Myers. Kills, we're gonna get there, but Kills really, really jacks with that. With that being said, though, the movements, the lack, the nailing the character, and then having a lack of character, if that makes sense, he just nails it. Just nails it. Like it. I think James Jude Courtney is definitely one or two. For anybody, should be, probably deserves that respect. Just that the amount of pause, head tilts. You know, the way they shoot him moving wise is not his fault. Like, if they wanted to shoot him there, not there, they would shoot it that way. You know what I mean? So that's not his fault. Utilizing his character is not on him. How he moves is epic. 2018 Michael. Yeah. So overall, I mean, hang on. Sorry, let's see. Do you really think I was going to miss a kill conversation? Oh man, I can't wait. Jason, man, I was hoping you made it.
H2O. Everybody in here gave praise, so.
But yeah, so I loved 2018. 2018, and it was kind of nice because everybody was overhyping it. And then you saw it and you were like, meh. And then you told me that before we went into the theater because you'd already seen it once. So that helped kind of drop my bar down a little bit. And so then when I saw it just blown out of the water. Now, keep in mind, at this point, I've been really burned by Resurrection. I'd been burned by Rob Zombie's H2. You know what I mean? Like, I just felt like the bar's pretty darn low. You just go back to basics, keep it simple, and you should have me at a middle of the road. And then so when it was actually good and there was like highlights and great shots and amazing kills and an amazing Michael Myers with a good solid mask, it jumped to my number 2 spot very, very quickly. Over time, it has shifted a bit. You know, the cracks do show, but I think overall it is still a very, very, like you said, a very, very solid movie.
Yeah.
It was effective movie because he was still very shadowy. and he had me on the edge of my yeah because it's the creepy factor of following Michael. Like you are seeing him walk down the street to go into the back of the house to kill that lady. When he slams her head and then he stabs her and he just throws her down, I was like, wow. Like and then it's the Elrod kill or whatever that gal was with the hammer. Like it lingers on the once again, it's not what you see, it's what you hear, right? It's what you're thinking with your brain, and the thuds of that old lady just taking it, and then he drops the hammer with no emotion or anything, and just grabs that knife, and he's like, "Oh, back to work!" Like it's just great.
Yeah.
Dude, Jason, what's funny is like last week when we talked about Resurrection, I said that I went into it kind of so sad, and I had a couple brewskis, but a couple beverages, right? Like I felt I was actually entertained by Resurrection this time because I liked some of those 90s actors, right? And I actually like Buster Rhymes. Like I gravitate towards his character. I like his presence. I like his talk, how he talks. Like,
I mean, I've got 2 Resurrection masks right there. Like, it's still bottom of the barrel, but I absolutely love that movie. But
yeah, but it is objectively bad. Like it's like H6 is objectively bad, but there is some good stuff. Hey, I don't know what to tell you, man. We've been through this. I got upset and burned that thing down. Like H6 is objectively bad. You can subjectively love it, but it's bad, just like Resurrection, just like H2. I had 0 issues with Buster Rhymes. I know. What's wrong with Buster Rhymes? He got 4 hits on Michael Myers. 4 hits. Granted, you did taser him in the nuts. That is probably a no-no with your favorite horror character, but I like Buster Rhymes. I love his presence. I love his attitude in that movie. I don't understand it. Funniest part in 2018 is the little black kid just bails. Hold on, sorry, I lost it on his babysitter. I died laughing. So did I. Was like, oh snap, boom, and he just bolts it. Julian's pretty funny. Like
Julian was great.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
babysitter, I wouldn't be up clipping my nasty
ass toenails.
Dude, funny.
That kid is awesome.
He's good in the little clip and kills too. He was like, she was my all-time favorite babysitter.
Yeah. Jason said H6 is not bad whatsoever. You'll have to go back and watch the video, or we'll be here all night on this one. And then Deb said it's just that Rob Zombie H2. I just said that Rob Zombie H2 was better than Resurrection, but Resurrection is so fun. Yeah, Resurrection is fun. I do absolutely love Rob Zombie's H2, and when we actually do our ranking, people are going to be really mad. And I can make 2 different lists.
No, my bad. You're right. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Rob Zombie one got crazy, and it, my bad. That kind of deleted some of my brain. Yeah,
you were there for H6. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, the Rob Zombie was man. It's hard because like when we do the ranking, they're almost like it needs to be in its own little pocket. Like it just, the rest of it flows and it connects, and then Rob Zombies is like right here. Like it's just hard because one is a remake with a little bit of extra background stuff on it, and then the second one is a fever dream craziness thing. So it's really hard to put that with the rest of the franchise that's keeping in line with some of it. So I don't know, we'll have to see. Rob Zombie's H2 is a 7. Rob Zombie's H2 is not a 7. It's pretty bad, man. There's no way. I mean, isn't that what you gave it, Caleb? Did you give it a 6.5? Oh God.
6.5, 7, something like that. I rate that movie very high. Anyways, so Halloween 2018 was a huge success. Originally, the ending we got was written just in case it failed. It could be an open-ended end. And honestly, I like it better than what we got with Kills. It ends with him being trapped in the house. It's burning. You hear the breath. He could live. He could die. You can take it however you want. The end. That in mind, David Gordon Green claimed that he had 2 more movies, maybe 3, if it was a success. Of course it was a success. It was huge. Halloween 2018 was huge. The hype with the Friday the 13th game was huge. rumors about Chucky reboot and the original Chucky coming back at the same time was huge. I mean, so all of these staple characters were coming back in a big way.
Leprechaun.
So, dude, Leprechaun Returns is amazing for what it is. If you go through that franchise,
I just hate
brilliant.
the ghost. If it didn't have the ghost in it, I would love it so much more, but I hate that so much.
I don't care. It is arguably one of the better requels, and I will stand by that.
It's okay.
Better than Scream. Yeah,
Scream
you
5.
can't disagree with that.
Scream 5.
Yeah, Scream 5, not the original Scream. I do have some humility. So that was originally the plan. It could go either way. We could get a sequel, we might not. Well, it made a buttload of money. I did not research the money because I have been extremely busy. So sorry, I don't have the budgets for kills.
It made a little bit more than $250 million on a $10 million budget.
Yeah. Also, COVID. So,
I'm sorry. The 10 million and the 250. That's 18. Kills with COVID is a different story.
Yeah, Kills. I didn't get time to look up the budget for Kills.
20.
And 20. Okay, and then the original plan, it was supposed to be released. COVID hit. They pushed it back, 3 times?
Well, it's supposed to come out in 2020, and then got pushed to 2021.
Yeah, but it got pushed to different times of the year, once or twice, I thought.
No, it was always supposed to be in October. They never flinched from the October release.
And then there was talks about, we'll do it straight to VOD instead, but maybe we won't. So it was an edge of your seat type of thing. So there was all of this plus all of the hype about where it was going to go online. It was obnoxious. It was to the point that even if you are a huge Halloween fan, it was... I got burnt out of seeing Halloween fan theories and where Halloween Kills is going to go and what characters are going to be there and who's going to reprise their role or who's going to make a cameo or where the stories... It was just so tiresome. No offense to any other content creators or anything who that was the main source of their...
Well, if you remember...
It was just exhausting.
Well, if you remember, like, they released a teaser and then they pushed it. They announced that they were going to push it to the next year, and then I can't remember if it was right before or right after. I think it was right after they gave us a full trailer with a ton of spoilers, with a ton of plot points, and I was like, "What's happening? We have another year to sit on this, and you just gave us a teaser and a trailer. Like, I don't understand what you're thinking. Like, this movie doesn't need any more hype, and you're blowing all your anticipation. It's already gone. Like, you've got our dollars, and now, like you said, we're starting to get worn out."
Yeah. It was... So I went in with very, 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 very mediocre expectations and was still phenomenally pissed off. So the hill that I die on is David Gordon Green, again, saying that Halloween 2018 is going back to basics. This movie does the exact opposite. Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah,
we're back to Halloween Thorn trilogy. There is no way this Michael is any way just human. No, it's not. He's not. He's not. It does no. I do know that there was a different version of this movie that gave Laurie more to do, but yet again we get another hospital-themed Halloween movie where Laurie doesn't move for 90% of it. She does talk more.
It's annoying, though. It's so annoying. Let him take my head as I take his. Like all this stupid, like, Loomis dialogue. Oh, God. It just... He's after me. He'll come here. Like, it wears you out.
I don't even know what to say other than the dialogue in this movie is horrid. Absolute. Personally, I think it's the worst in the franchise. It's rough.
Pretty bad. It's the repetitive
But
nature of it
Michael is not a problem.
at all.
Because it's not his fault that they wrote him to be H4 through H6 style, like super crazy brute strength, nothing can kill him. On that note, getting Michael doing the extreme session with the firefighters, getting him doing the home break-in kill, that is honestly, of all the Halloween films, probably in my top 3 kills. The way he takes the knives and slowly just almost like he's testing out each one, but also like he's playing with his kill. It's his childlike sense of wonder, as morbid as that sounds. He's like, oh, okay, okay. And knowing that as you're watching him do that is like, holy crap, that was rough. And she's just there watching him do this to her spouse.
That shot is so amazing. She's slightly breathing. She's bleeding out. It's fuzzy in the foreground, and it's Michael stabbing as she's just forced to sit there and watch. That shot is amazing. That's an amazing shot. A lot of movies of the past have been given way too much in trailers. Dude, Terminator since T2. Since T2, they've been ruining it.
T3, T2, like, I mean, you kind of like you had to sell the idea of the movie.
But
T3.
But can you imagine when Sarah Connor sees the Terminator for the first time and she falls to the floor screaming and slipping all over the floor? If you didn't know at the time which Terminator was which, completely different impact. Like, we take it for granted, and it's a great scene, but completely different impact. But it was ruined by the trailer saying, this time he's there to protect. Like, God dang it. And then Genesis 3.
Genesis was the worst. The one good twist that movie had, and it was in the first teaser trailer.
Terrible. And then...
like, how are you going to do that? I thoroughly enjoyed seeing the annoying Evil Dies Tonight get freaking wrecked by Michael. Okay, I'm going to get to that end scene. I'm going to get there. One of the reasons I enjoy the Batman scene, and I'm going to get there.
The Batman scene?
I have compared the end scene Michael as Batman because the way he takes everybody. Yeah. I was upset they kept Laurie in the hospital again. Annoyed to no end with Tommy. Yep. So many character choices were horrid. Yep. Michael was just a punch-down clown who always popped back up with vengeance. Okay. All of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why was every single person ready to fight Michael Myers? Like, the firefighters, we start off, I get it that there's other firefighters in the house that have called for help, and then there's this dude right there. I kind of understand them. But they get ready to rock and roll like it's Monday Night Raw. Like, I just don't...
I mean, dude pulls out a saw. He's like, no, I ain't dying tonight.
Right.
Spoilers.
Tommy gives like a small speech. Now, I get it. There's a lot of people wounded and dying and getting wheeled into this hospital, and that's where a lot of this is taking place. The cops are there because they're interviewing the survivors, yada, yada. I get that. But, like,
Karen's being a Karen and talking about how they need more security.
Yeah, but I just don't understand. Everybody's like, yep, let's go. Let's take our teenage kids. Let's go find this guy. Like, it's so dumb. It's too much. When the posse gets riled up and they're running up the stairs, like, freaking out, like there's one guy that's like, while he's running up the steps. I'm like, why is everybody so happy to go to to get to the serial killer? Like, most people run away from the danger, but everybody, like even in the scene where Michael stabs Nurse Chambers, the dude in the back seat takes his stethoscope off and grabs Michael with him. Like, he just jumped on a car and stabbed her multiple times, and you think that's how you're gonna take out Michael Myers? Like, even if he's just a normal dude, I got nothing. He's got a knife. What are you doing? Like, the girl, the wife that jumps out, oh my God.
Back to the hospital stuff and the TV thing that aired. Who is confusing Michael with the other patient?
Oh, God. Dude, people have called him Danny DeVito, and now I can't see anything else but Danny DeVito running around the hospital.
And I do feel bad. He passed away before the release of the film. I don't know how or why or what, but I do know he passed away, and his wish was that nobody spoiled the movie for anybody else, and that's heartfelt and sad. And his character's end is terrible and sad, but it just like, who in their right mind is going, yeah, that guy's shaped exactly like Michael Myers.
Right. So, side tangent. Isn't it weird how when people die, like it's weird, like a lot of times people don't say how people have died, but it leaves you wondering when at the end of the day it doesn't matter, they're dead. Like it doesn't matter. Like, but it makes us feel better. Like if I know, maybe I cannot step on that landmine. You know what I mean? Like maybe I'll do some more push-ups if I need to, or I'll stop drinking, whatever. You know, whatever. I just had a buddy who was a couple years older than me, and I literally just thought like the dude that wanted everything he wanted. I just like saw him. He just got married recently, has a kid, like, so he's got this beautiful family. And I remember just making this note of like, I'm glad he made it. And I just saw like this week he passed away. So rest in peace, like good dude out of nowhere. And it just says quick and suddenly. It's weird how that was my first impulse is like, wow, like, you know, like he was not even 40. Like what? This is just weird to think like that's where our heads go. But anyway, we'll go back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring it down there. But Dave says I can't recall, was Lindsay there at the end after hitting Michael with the bricks with the pillowcases in the trailer? I don't believe she was in the trailer doing that. That part, that the park scene was out of the trailers, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing anything with them.
But every choice a character who wasn't Michael Myers made in this movie, it wasn't a logical one, like at all. Michael Myers was the most realistic because he was Michael Myers. Everybody else was just...
They made the dumbest decision possible the entire time. Like I was saying,
okay,
Lindsay got hit with Lindsay hits him with the bricks, gets choked out a little bit, doesn't take a whole lot of damage, runs off, and then she gets wheeled away in a wheelchair. That's the last we see of her. And
she's not in the final. The final Fight Club does have a lady with an iron, which, I mean, bro. Dude, yes, they do. It's just, this was really bad. Anthony Michael Hall should not be giving inspirational mob speeches.
Right. When he goes this way, you got to go that way and get him. Like, what are we talking about here? It's so dumb.
Put me in the game, coach. I felt like Waterboy was going to come out and be like, you need some H2O. Like, it didn't make sense. It was so bad.
Like, stay awake, stay ready, stay blah, blah, blah. Like, just he's an apex predator. Like, 40 years ago, you protected me, now I'm going to protect you. It's just garbage after garbage after garbage.
If I was the original actor to play Tommy at this point and I saw this performance, I'd be like, bro, what? Like, I know there was a big deal online about him being mad, but after seeing this, it's like, Well,
the problem is, Deb, is that like it just becomes glaringly obvious that like the movie is, until the very end, the movie is positioning characters to do the dumbest thing to make it easier for Michael to dispatch a ton of people. It's like the biggest problem I have is where the wife she gets out of the car, right, and then Nurse Chambers gets killed, and then her husband gets killed. Like a good 15 to 20 seconds goes by, and then all of a sudden she's at the end of the parking lot trying to shoot Michael, where she could have just walked up to him and blown his head off while he was stabbing her husband. 15, 20 seconds later, she's coming back with the hand cannon of a deagle and is missing him up to the point where the door gets kicked and it flips around and shoots her in the head. She should have been able to at least get a shot on Michael. Okay. So stupid.
Okay. I have to say, it is absolutely ridiculous and makes no sense, but I laugh every time I see that kill.
Michael sits there, he's like, wow, that just happened. Like,
yeah, he was like, wait, does that count against my score?
Right, well, then you fast forward to Big John, Little John, which I really do like. I did think that the way they portrayed those characters, I thought might be a little problematic to some people. I liked it. I thought they were adorable. I thought they were awesome. I thought they were fun. But the dumb part, like all that is ripped away between the Big John, Little John every 30 seconds and the fact that Michael knocks on the back door. He goes and checks the back door. Now, keep in mind, this is an old colonial house. It's not big at all. There's one staircase, probably, most likely, as far as we know, that goes upstairs. Little John goes from the back door to the front door, and the staircase is directly behind him. There's two ways to get to that staircase. The way that Big John went in and the way that Little John was there in the other room. That's it. There's no way. If Michael opened that door, put his bloody hand in there, and walked in the house, he is next seen upstairs. There is no way Michael could get in the house and go upstairs past them. But then you have these two dummies go, I got this knife. Like, if there is not, you've said that there was an adult in your house, blood on the door, it's Halloween night, bail. Just bail.
In the theater, I turned to John and I was like, man, they could have left this house like 5 times by now.
That was brutal.
And been alive. Like, dude, I'm sorry. If it's any night of the week and I hear a knock on my back door and there's nobody there, so I go check the front door, and then I turn around and I see a blood stain, a handprint on the back door, I'm out. Nope, that's what police are for.
Right. Like, you know that exit is compromised. Take the good exit. Well, not necessarily compromised. He could have gone back around, but really, for the most part, Michael went in the front door or in the back door and went up. Like, it just doesn't work that way. It's dumb. Like, and then they separate, which is stupid. They take a baby knife and a big knife. He goes upstairs, gets knifed in the armpit, which is hardcore, and then the eyeball gouge was awesome. But then Jason's talking about, the Big John Little thing got super annoying. You just don't call out your name like that. It's probably just a cute little thing that they have with each other that they do that a lot. You know, it's a playful thing. So it's fine, but it's a little too much. Also, like, then he goes up. So Little John is upstairs. My fault if I get him mixed up because it's stupid. But Little John goes upstairs. Michael's staring out the window, and he goes, Michael, you've come home. So between that and getting stabbed, he's got a good 10 to 15 seconds. He could have just saw Michael and pulled a Michael and gone, big gulps, huh? Whoops, see you later. And he's gone because the steps are right there. You're out the front door. Goodbye.
Dude, I have to say, when he saw Michael, he could have taken a dive out that window too. Like, he could have survived that. I mean, it would have hurt, but he could have made it. Dude, they had so many opportunities to leave that house. It hurt. Absolutely. And I think that the thing that gets me is characters weren't making this stupid of choices in Halloween 2018. Were they making bad decisions? Absolutely. But were they this, like, blatantly obvious? No, it wasn't this in your face.
Well, they made some silly mistakes, like in the moment, like in the house, like the Happy Halloween thing, like the chasing after him, stuff like that. But as far as, like, it didn't have time for that. Like, it was like, Michael's killing everybody. Michael's in the car. Michael's to Lori. He's killing more people. He's upstairs. So it's like, it just doesn't have time to do that. This movie lingers on the people, and it just lets you watch them do the dumbest things on the planet. It's just brutal. And then
all I recognize is Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. Yeah. Man, I don't care how old I get. That will always be some of the best things ever. Best times of my life. Especially with Mr. Walk Slowly After Everyone. Yeah, it just...
and then we fast forward to the next dumb stage of this movie. You got Lori, who's like, I can do this. Like, I like the little banter between her and Hawkins. But then we go and she pumps herself full, and then they have the riot thing, and then he jumps out the window, and it lingers way too long.
You can tell she was supposed to have more to do after that scene. You can totally see it.
Yeah.
But then they were like, hold up, we need to rewrite this real quick. And so she gets taken out in that scene. It's
stupid. Well, then they linger too long with whatever his name is with the umbrella. I can't remember. Danny DeVito, as everybody's been calling him. And then he goes out, and he's just like, no, everybody hates me. This sucks. I'm just going to bail. And the gore is awesome. Like, it's a kind of in bad taste for the moment, but it's awesome. I thought it would have been more impactful had he been asking for help. He goes on the ledge to get away, and he slips and falls. Killing himself felt a little too... I don't know.
That was rough to watch.
Yeah, it was bad. Like they linger a good second and a half, 2 seconds, and it's brutal. Like stuff's still twitching, and it's like it's bad.
Yeah, I don't watch these movies to see characters escape. Again, it's not about making them escape. In my opinion, it's about how ridiculous these scenarios are. Like I feel like you could put the Benny Hill music in half these chase scenes, and it would work perfectly.
Like everybody wants to take on Michael Myers. It's like everybody thought they were a BA, and they're just not. Like it's weird. So fast forwarding right now, we have everybody feels bad that Trevoli or whatever his name is dead, and so Karen's like, I need a car. I got you. I'll make up for this. Tommy Doyle's like, I got this redemptive now arc in me. Maybe still thinking he's a tough guy, I guess. So then you got Lonnie taking his kid and Allison. Great backup, very nicely done. And then he figures out this.
Stay in the car. Stay in the car. Don't come in. Everything's fine. I'm going to park you right outside of the house, though. So when you can tell things go wrong, you can walk in the house.
Right. It's like even if they were to park outside the house and just wait for Michael Myers, even that is stupid because you're still putting the kids in danger. Right. So even just parking there is dumb, like without more backup than just those two. Your child, who's a teenager, who's probably still drunk from the first movie, Lonnie, who is drunk, awesome. And then you have Allison, who has seen the end of 2018 Michael Myers. She has seen him get shot in the face and should have been burned alive, falling down the steps, flames coming around him, right? She's seen him possibly, I don't know if she was still there or not, if she ran into the woods, possibly curb stomp Sartain. She sat right next to pure evil. And then you have this gal who they're trying to make a tough gal, who they're trying to make a final girl. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. She goes, they're like, he stalks, he kills, he goes home, and he goes home. And she goes, then that's where we're going. Nobody would say that after watching Michael Myers decimate your family, kill your dad. I don't care how upset you are about your dad. You would not do that. Like, Lonnie would not put them in jeopardy. They would not go in there. It's so dumb. It doesn't work. It's stupid. Then he goes up there, one shot, and they don't even miss a beat. Let's go. Like, they're SWAT kicking in the door like they're going to do something. The first thing they do is just destroy a pumpkin that's in a closet. Obviously, you're in over your head. She goes upstairs. She puts the shotgun down to grab a knife. Oh God. Oh God, man. Like, Michael comes out of nowhere and it's awesome. Once again, Michael is awesome. He decimates Cameron with ease, and then Allison gets knocked down the steps. Her ankle's all messed up. She's hurt now. Cameron's hanging there just fully exposed. Now, this is interesting because Michael has had a lot of issues where he'll walk away from people that are wounded. Look at H6, where you got the gal who jumps out the window. He just walks away from her. Look at Halloween 4 with Rachel on the lawn. He walks right past her to go to Jamie. He's very on target. With this one, he has no target, and he's not going to walk past nobody. He takes Cameron, and like when they talk about a square peg in a round hole and just bashing it, like he just up, down, left, and right cheat codes him to death on that staircase, and it's amazing. But
yeah, dude, absolutely awesome. And okay, so the way this scene is shot, as stupid of the decisions everybody made except for Michael here, again, everybody, it's shot really well. It's a really cool kill. Michael looks amazing when it shows him hit the top of the stairwell looking down at Allison. It's almost one of those spine tingling moments. Like, it's just like, whoo, yeah, that's a little intimidating. So real quick,
who makes the decision in adrenaline rushing, especially in a mob. So with the mob, the problem is that this is all about a perfect storm. Laurie is taken out of commission. You have the police that cannot get the situation under control, that are dumb and don't believe in it. Like, what are we going to do? Cancel Halloween? Like, you have all this stuff, and then you have the mob mentality that just goes nuts, like just goes to 10. You have the cops being super stupid. You have the mob going too much. Like, it's a perfect storm. But with a storm, with a tornado, you need clouds. I don't know what to tell you. There's elements that need to match up, and when it goes too wonky, it sticks out like a sore thumb. And it's the problem of, does it work on paper? Yeah. Was it executed correctly? Not really. And the problem with this too is that, like we talked about the dialogue, like if you ever watch The Dark Knight, sometimes when a dialogue is used from a writer and it's used from one character and you see it used exactly in another character, it shows the writer bleeding through, not the characters, the writer. When they talk about you play things pretty close to the chest, and then you have Bruce Wayne later on talking about I'm playing this pretty close to the chest, Lucius. You have certain lines of dialogue that are repeated almost word for word that are not normally used. Evil dies tonight, over and over again. Like, you know, you have 40 years and 40 years and 40 years and 40 years. Like, there's 4 different characters that say 40 years. It's like, guys, we understand, we get it. It's the writing bleeding onto the screen.
What 18-year-old kid says he's been hurting my family for 40 years?
For 40 years.
No, I will Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, no, bro. It doesn't happen.
It worked for Brackett's character because he could say 40 years ago. He's living with the loss of his daughter for 40 years. That works. With Tommy, I get it that it's the 40th year anniversary, but he goes in there and he says that you protected me when I was a kid 40 years ago. Now I'm going to protect you. You don't need 40 years in there. Stop repeating yourself.
That line was horrible.
Horrible. He's just like this guy that has to prove himself. He's like a loser, but he's a tough guy that's pretending. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. We got Jason said, how are you going to sit here?
Taking kills and praise H2O. Come on, man. Absolutely. I will. That's another hill I'll die on. Man, when we rank them all.
But still, though, like we will highlight things in H2O, right? Like, now you've got a Michael that survived being shot multiple times, blown up, all this stuff, and then you really dial him down. That is a bit of a problem. But you do have a really good feel of H1 and H2 in this Michael Myers. The kills suck. For the most part, they suck. The masks are horrible. But Laurie is better. The flow and the pace is a little bit better. I like the characters a lot more in H2O. That final fight scene is baller. Like, there is some problems, but H2O, for what it is awesome. It is a
H2O's opening is awesome. H2O's opening is so cool.
Yeah, opening and ending is amazing. I don't understand the Dawson's Creek. I understand there's other characters. I understand the Williams. I don't get it. Super slow, nothing happens, terrible. Oh, man. There is a middle part where it's building characters and setting everything up, and Michael's got to get there. I get that. I hear you there. Kills is an 8.
Deb said, sorry, it was satisfying. I didn't like Cameron at all. Thank you. When he did that, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a little bit of rage. But at the same time, it was like, yeah, you sucked.
I like how the movie tries to make you think. It actually does a pretty good job of trying to give him a redemption and making you buy it a little bit. Like, he messed up, but look at him. He's willing to stay by her side and maybe protect her. So it gives you a little bit to like him. So that way, when the kill happens, you get both sides of it. You're like, yeah, kill him. And you're like, oh, he was trying. Like, it's a really nice, they did a very good job with making you feel his death. But then, when the movie, so we talked about, I just don't believe these characters. I don't believe that Lonnie's going after him. I don't believe Allison's going after him. I don't believe she's that hardcore. I don't believe that Cameron's going after him. I just don't believe these characters are going after Michael Myers, especially Allison after what she's seen. Now,
Karen was the most believable character until the third act.
Karen actually was, God, dude, as Karen might actually be my favorite non-Michael character in the whole movie.
Because her character fit her character from the last movie.
Right. Well, but if you think about Karen, a lot of people hate her for her whininess and stuff like that, but she has, from the trauma of her childhood, she has surrounded her with the comforts and the security of what you think should keep you secure. her mom always taught her to take care of yourself. No, we have police about that. She gets a bit of an older husband, right? That's a bit of a goofball, keeps things light, right? Like knows jujitsu, but keeps everything lovable and happy and is a very secure thing. And even in Kills, she's talking about like, there are people and police officers to take care of this. And at the end, she rises to nobody else can do it. I'll do it myself. So she is a character that actually probably has the best development, like core-wise, all the way to the end.
My thing is she pooped on that because she had, okay, we'll get back to this. So Allison's at the bottom of the stairs, messed up leg, and you think Mike's about to kill her, and then boom, Allison shows up, gets Michael down. She has the chance to literally stomp his neck and break it. And they linger on this. Like, but instead she takes his mask off and runs away. Like, that's right, the plan.
She kicks him in the head, and that's it. Well, to be fair, at this point, though, I mean, she probably could kick him, but she doesn't know that he got hit with bricks, but it wouldn't do anything. Like, kicking him in the head would not do anything if the bricks didn't do anything.
But if you're in that same situation and you're already down that close to his face, I would at least try to break the neck. Like, right. I mean, might as well. Like, right. It's just a logical thought.
Right. Hang on, so real quick. So I think, hang on one second. I really like my. Okay, so this is interesting. So once again, hating Halloween for H2O, that makes sense. Laurie went to the other side of the country where it doesn't feel like Halloween. This makes sense through the character, why she would wear a Christmas sweater. She bypasses Halloween entirely and goes straight to the happiness of Christmas. It makes sense to me.
Yeah. It fits her character.
Michael's kills got more brutal and pent-up rage directed from the victims. Yeah, exactly. It's that build of 40 years and just that escalation. I love it. Yeah. I really like how Michael got more brutal. Yeah, yep.
Michael is awesome. Like it's just true. The only again, the hill I die on. When it's pushed that this movie is going back to the basics, and then you're like, okay, we got a sequel greenlit, and you just pull that rug out from under everybody. And this is in the same vein as a mixture of Rob Zombie and the Thorn trilogy. It just is. Just without a tattoo and without a white pony. That like
they were. I think I told you in the maybe I didn't tell you, but when we were in the theater watching Kills, when they are like so he gets the mask right, like come get us. Like once again, Allison at the bottom of the stairs. Do it. I don't buy her character. I guess she's been through some grief. I just don't buy her. You're trying to sell me something I'm not buying. Anyway, they get up and go off, like, and then all of a sudden, gotcha. Once again, I love her little catchphrase. There's more to Karen than meets the eyes. Transformers, right? It's like, so she's standing there. The lights come on. It's a good-looking shot. Old Huckleberry with Dummy Doyle rolls up, and the whole crowd with the iron and everything. Granted, it's stupid, but man, to get hit in the face with an iron would suck. But anyway, this is the point where they're kicking the crap out of Michael. You don't want to see your villain hero treated this way, but I actually was like, oh my God, maybe the sequel to this movie is a fake and they're going to kill Michael. And I was like, if they go there, I'm going to love this movie even more because the town got vengeance. All of it would have made sense instead of being a futile effort. But then all of a sudden, and now they're what they say is that they were losing the darkness of the day. So what they did is they went and they shot this stupid scene on a carousel, like merry-go-round thing. And that's why you see like the up close blood splatters and all this stuff. But Michael has now been shot once by Laurie, 2 fingers blown off, right? He's been I think Laurie stabbed him once or twice. He's been shot. He gets stabbed by the pitchfork, shot multiple times with the gun. Now, granted, it looks like kind of shoulder arms. And then they beat the ever-loving bejeezers out of him. And then she stabs him in the spine. And he gets up. Like, once again, I have gotten up slower from painful poops. There's just no way. Like, and that's where I was like, all of a sudden, there's that shift. And it's just like, oh, here we go. We are full supernatural again. And you cannot tell me otherwise. And that the ending just leaves a sour taste in your mouth, and then they go worse as it goes.
This scene drives me nuts.
Nuts.
This scene does not belong in a Halloween franchise. This scene belongs in The Batman. This scene belongs in the Ninja Turtles. This scene belongs in
John Wick.
Arnold movie. John Wick. Dude, what? Okay, I do not need. Okay, there's a difference between the Mob and H4 and this. H4 kept their distance and tried blowing him away from as far as they could because they knew if he grabbed them, it was over.
Right.
That works. Also, limited budget, different type of, CG and fight choreography. But getting Michael, giving him the beatdown, if it would have ended there with him on the ground, I would be much happier.
Right, the cops show up and arrest him.
Yeah, but instead, what we got is these weird close-ups that totally look like something out of the Keaton era Batman. And it took me so far out of the movie that, like half of the rest of this film did too. At this point, there is no human Michael Myers. This is full on, might as well have the Thorn tattoo, might as well go ahead and rip half that mask off and put on a gross hoodie. It regurgitated the ideas in a different way, and I think it failed.
Oh, dude, and it's just you could feel it in the theater that carousel merry-go-round thing. It felt dumb, but the music kind of cues on, so it kind of does make you feel like there's this hopelessness, like everybody's dying, like it's sad, so it does, the music really helps to sell the scene, but it feels cheap. It feels like we can't show you tearing through everybody because there's so many people there. We got to so it kind of feels like a little bit of trickery to help you digest the scene, and it doesn't land at all. And then later on, we got Karen and them, and nothing ever happened when it was a block over. And then once again, so Michael goes up the back stairs without anybody seeing him, rolls up on her, and then kills her. I
have less of a problem with that than I do the Mob. The Mob, them getting him down, I was cool with. It's once he got up and literally Assassin's Creed ninja'd everybody in the group. Michael Myers went from just like Michael Myers to John Wick in a Michael Myers mask. It's not cool. It's not fun. It doesn't work right. Whereas Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, that bus scene worked because he's got a chainsaw and he's tearing through that group. It's
and they couldn't get out.
Yeah, they're trapped in there with him. God, I hate that scene. That is my least favorite in the entire Halloween franchise scene.
Yeah, I like how Dev is talking about the iron, dude. Like I said, it's dumb, but
it's a goofy.
It hurt up my favorite guy. It would hurt to get hit with an iron. Dude, it really would.
Dude, there was a Facebook group that was named "That Lady That Brought an Iron to Kill Michael Myers."
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's one thing to be super strong or mentally off that he doesn't register pain or something, but it's just inhuman the way that you can't suspend belief. It's taking on supernatural. Exactly. And that's the problem I have with it when they said we're writing all that off.
Right.
And
that's why we love 2018 so much. That's why we love 2018. You went back to basics. Michael was awesome, and away we go. And then all of a sudden you're just like, yoink.
Yeah, the promise fulfilled, it didn't happen. And that sucks.
Well, in the transition you got from 81 Halloween to H4, you had time to think about it. You had time to accept that he's supernatural. There's no way around it. H5, he's supernatural, no way around it. 6, definitely for sure. H2O is interesting because it kind of asks you to forget about H2 because it kind of sweeps it under the rug. It uses it just enough. It lets Loomis live, which is interesting. So Loomis lived from the explosion, even though Michael got shot like 18 times and got blown up and is missing his eyeballs. Like, he's superhuman in a toned down way. This movie just had a ton of people kick the crap out of him. He's survived a burning basement. Like, he's been shot multiple times, fingers blown off. Like, he's been stabbed by a pitchfork in the back. And the thing is, too, is that you've got to remember the shtick I always talk about. It only goes so long. Michael Myers, one night in 78 to 81, you can kind of suspend disbelief for one night. But if Michael Myers goes from 18 to kills, then 4 years later to Halloween Ends, he's supernatural because nobody could survive those wounds without medical attention. If he was not captured, he would not survive. Period. Like in 2018, they have the flashback where they capture him early on, to where you're like, shot 12 times, maybe it was not perfect. Like, we'll suspend a little bit. But he would have medical attention. Now you got to go 4 years in the future saying with no medical attention, he lived. No. Yeah. Everybody dies from that, period.
Yeah.
How many times was he shot in H1? He was shot 6 times if you watch 78, shot 7 times in the beginning if you watch 81. But yeah, but he was also stabbed in the heart. And to be fair, he also was stabbed in the heart, stabbed in the eye, stabbed in the neck. So to be fair, he did have a big couple inches into his chest somewhere, maybe. Once again, you can suspend a little bit because it's one night. It's the flow. It's how it's handled. It's the execution.
I have to talk about my actual least favorite part of Kills. The voice acting for Loomis.
Did he kill again?
Loomis is over the top and poetic. This guy, did he kill again? Did you see him? Was he here? What? No, dude, this isn't. No.
I think it's because it's off and it's intense that I think it's throwing a lot of people off. And I get it. I do hear it. But when you listen to Loomis in like H4, right? When you don't have a police boss. Like, he lingers on the ending, kind of like Jack Nicholson and other people like that, where you linger on the last couple syllables and stuff. Like, it's not egregious enough to where I don't buy it. Like, he's here, Sheriff. I tell you, he's here to kill that little girl. Ain't anyone that gets in his path. Like
the dialogue here plus the voice acting don't work.
It could have been better. I will agree with that. Hang on. Deb says exactly. That's why 2018 is better in my opinion. It improves on the basics while adding creepy and intensity, but keeping it fairly real. Yeah. It just adds a little bit, just a little bit, but keeping it toned down. And that's amazing because and that's what I was talking to Brittany earlier today. It's like with Prey, it was successful. And that's great because hopefully we can get, like, if Friday the 13th goes to streaming, you will have more opportunity to flesh things out and to bring it back down. With like 2017's It, you got to make things bigger and bolder and louder and more explosions. And when that's not what the franchise is founded on, it kind of gets lost and cheesy and doesn't work. Look at Terminator, Genesis. Look at the last one that came out. That's why they don't work. It's a simple story where it got ramped up perfectly in the second one, and then you guys just can't do it right ever since. So hopefully with streaming, maybe this will help. But the problem is that when you take these big franchises and you put them to streaming, it only is going to add to the death of theaters, which is very possible with Regal possibly going under here very soon, or bankrupt at least. But anyway, sorry. It's all about simplicity and execution, and most of the times that's just not what they think sells tickets. So hang on, let's see. Kills was entertaining with stupidity like Resurrection, a way better script, but not too much. The problem is regurgitating stupid lines by Laurie. 40 years later, Evil dies tonight, and every single character wanting to fight Michael Myers. Like, it just doesn't feel right. Like, it's just not kind of clicking all the way. But the good things are the flashback is awesome for the most part. The mask isn't quite right. It bugs me. Michael Myers is a little too thick. It bugs me. The killing the partner thing is kind of interesting. It's fine. Adds a little bit to that without hurting anything really. A lot of love was put into it. It's fine. It's pretty good. It really is pretty good. And Michael Myers is baller, but everything else is just trash. Like, it ruins everything in 18 other than the escape and Michael Myers. Like, it just, I don't know.
Yeah. And it doesn't add up. It absolutely doesn't.
Well, he fell out of, so Jason's saying he fell out of a second story window. Yeah, but like, I mean, that's probably maybe 12 feet, right? So 12 feet onto grass. I mean, it's, he like, we do say there is a little bit of supernatural in 78. There is. He is supernatural to a degree, but he's not full on, like, nothing can stop me, you know, explosions kind of a, you know. Sorry, can you read those, bud? I can't quite read the Jabari.
So is it just me? Is it just me because I feel like if the sequel fails, the first one, interest is lost. Like Fallen of the Lost Skywalker or whatever that second Star Wars movie was. I'm referring to Kills, by the way. Yeah, dude, I have very little interest in ends. I'm gonna go see it because Halloween is my favorite horror franchise. But I give it no hope.
Yeah, the last Jedi is absolute garbage trash. Taking a beloved franchise and having no game plan and passing it off to different directors and having different storylines ripped and repeated, and absolutely trash. The new Star Wars trilogy is 100% trash. It is a full-on, if you want to enjoy it, you have got to turn your brain off. It's absolutely trash.
Actually, the mob after Michael made sense to me. This age of cancel culture. This town is over the terror of Michael and don't want another wave of him back. It just, for a guy who killed a handful of people in 1978 and happened to kill a small handful of people again the night he escaped, it's over the top.
Well, the fact that, like, you're turning everybody into bloodthirsty killers. Bloodthirsty. That's another thing where, like, you dial it to 10 to get your point across. And it's too much. We get it. It's just too much right in your face. Like, there are elements that add to it and that support it, but it's not enough. People just don't go full on bloodthirsty in today's world and ready to lynch somebody over somebody they've never met and don't fully understand the situation of what's happening. Once again, like we're saying, don't fully understand. They thought Danny DeVito to Trivoli or whatever, they thought he was Michael Myers. Like, damn, anybody walks in that hospital with a mask on, they're gonna straight up kill him. Like, they're not taking him in, they're not gonna stop him. They're talking about kill him. Evil dies tonight. Like, what? It's a small town. Like, I have a small town, and we've done some stupid things, but I've never seen that many people in a room in a small town like that. Once again, I can see
I feel like instead of active participants in a mob, there'd be a lot more people holding their cell phone taking video.
Yeah, I think it'd be more group-esque. I could see groups of people, like little pockets of people doing stuff, but I don't see everybody in the hospital, including the doctors and nurses, lose their freaking mind over this. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I could see like 5 to 20. Yeah. But like the entire populace of the hospital, ugh.
Right, like with the Tommy stuff, like they're there celebrating in the bar, like, Lori, wherever you are, this is for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that little pocket of survivors that have been living with this, like the town has been living with this too, but 40 years later, people moved on. Like, really, for the most part. Like, I understand a small pocket and then their friends, like, getting a, like, you know, but I'm not buying the entire hospital.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's so frustrating because, like, I watch Michael, I love it. It's so good. Like, it's best Michael you can hope for when you want carnage and death and violence and gore, and it's awesome. But it's just it's like I said, it's Danny McBride rinse and repeating his dialogue, and then just putting no thought into characters and going for the kills. This movie is for the kills and the carnage, and that's all they focus on. How do we get all this through? And it just really felt like it just felt like they lost some of the sighting, like like what we were talking about, the vibes and what they wanted for 18. They just threw it out the window, and it was offensive to me. We can believe a man in a mask can kill and deflect attacks from the victims like he's Steven Seagal and John Wick, but no one can believe a colored woman can take on a predator. Hang on, only a little. I need to. So it's just different. So that's the thing, though. It's like we talked about with Prey, right? It's the he's holding a bear over his head, and then he runs through all the French dudes. But the Native American dudes, because they're Native American and we need to be respectful, they are awesome. And now, granted, they are probably more skilled warriors and they are smarter and they are the land and there's this stuff. But all of a sudden, when you need the predator to really get hurt, like when it's people you don't like, kill them all quick. But then all of a sudden, you got a couple characters that you like, or the main lead, and then all of a sudden we just start bashing the predator and kicking the crap out of him. And once again, like I said with Lori, when she's pinned up against the wall with the rifle, she should be dead. When the predator grabs the gal, or any of them, they would be dead. Like grab an arm, the arm's broken. Grab them by the throat, they are dead. Slam them to the ground, they are dead. Like that's kind of the problem, is that it's not
with Predator, though. With Predator or Prey, that franchise, it's always been about the further you get away from technology, the more likely you are to survive the predator attack. That's what happened with Dutch. Overall, most of the films, the closer you get to a natural, almost primitive way of fighting, the more likely you are to survive an interaction with Predator.
Right. And here's the thing, too. There is a thing called plot armor. There really, truly is. But once again, it is, what have you been given, and do you believe it? Does it flow? Does it vibe? Does it fit?
Prey fits. Halloween Kills doesn't.
Prey works enough. It works. I mean, you take the movie at what it is, right? It's a lower budget. It's you know what I mean? It's giving you some stuff you've never seen and a lot of stuff you've seen before. Like it works enough. There are some flaws, and if you're on the negative side, I hear you. If you're on the positive side, I hear you. It works enough for what it is, and it's a really good movie into some of the comparisons. Like, I love Predator 2. Predator 2 is a garbage movie. It's bad. Like, it's objectively bad. The vibes of it is bad, but it's entertaining, right? It's very entertaining.
I love Predator 2. Danny Glover is a national treasure who should be protected at all costs.
Right, but like, so it's like you look at AVP, right, and at the end they team up with the Predator, go after the Queen. The gal gets the shield and the thing, but she's not like full on ninja flipping like the Predator at the end of that movie, throwing a spear. But in Prey, she's ninja flipping and kicking, go to toe to toe. Granted, it's wounded, but they're in the context of what the movie really is. It's fine for its budget and what it was trying to do. It's just one of those things where if anybody tries to say anything, you need to at least. There needs to be at least a little middle ground where you go, yeah, that is fair. There is something besides just plot armor. It needs to work for the movie. It just needs to work. You can't just get plot armor. You can't just get the smallest. Like, if she was in a wheelchair, I don't want to hear excuses why she lives to the very end, right? Like it's like, how far do we let people get small and tiny and fragile and just let them live to the end? Like, just because they're like, it still needs to work. Like in Child's Play, when Nika is in a wheelchair, it works because Chucky's toying with her. She's tough, but she's also like the same height as Chucky. It slows things down and makes it creepy. Like it still needs to be effective, and you need to maintain some logic within your story.
Halloween Kills, because of how much it doesn't fit, how much I don't believe the characters, how much I don't believe the situations, it is one of my least favorite Halloween films. It is one of my least favorite of the new horror film wave. And that's saying something. And it sucks to say.
You just can't get past it. That's the problem. I watch it. Every time I watch Michael, I love it. Every time I'm invested in the characters, I hate it. Like, other than like Big John, Little John, I like their dialogue, and I like how he's dancing and smoking weed, and they're talking about the honey and shaking the butt, and like I don't know what it is. I just like that couple. But other than that, like, I like Karen. I do like Karen. I like her arc. She's the only one that's actually getting an arc. She's not just a BA because. She's not just a final girl because. Like, she has depth, and I don't know. Let's see. That would be the absolute worst Halloween movie. Yeah, I guess to Caleb, is it subjectively the worst?
What would be the absolute worst Halloween movie? We'll get there. I think we're gonna do a rankings.
We'll do it after Ends comes out. We might as well save the ranking till after Ends. Makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills is a top 10 film of all time. Jason, I love it. Burn it down. I love that at least you love it. That's awesome, dude. Look, 89 Batman is my favorite movie of all time. It's not the best movie I've ever seen, but it's the movie that speaks to me. I love watching it. Every time I watch it, I get a detail I hadn't seen before, and I've seen the movie hundreds of times. So I do not watch the 4K. It sucks.
That's me with Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Favorite film of all time. It's got everything in it. Every time I watch it, I see a new little detail or something that I didn't pick up on before. God, what show was that? That 70s show when they're talking about Eric, like Star Wars is when he's sick, when he's happy, when it's the holidays, when it's raining, when it's sunny. Like Terminator 2 is that for me. Absolutely, right. Hands down.
Jason saying, what would be the worst Halloween movie? H1 or H2O? My God, like you and Matt don't like H1, man. Like, wow. Couple of Unstoppable Army, just like classic 80s action films. A woman that's, dude, but there's something about, so we've come to, like, there's certain movies where, like, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 that just came out, like, it captures enough cheesy vibe. Also, got to give it some leeway for low budget, also low bar for the franchise. There's some rock and roll cheese that you can get in today's, but you've got to walk a very fine line that most people cannot hit in today's world. Like Stranger Things hit that 80s vibe solid. They do. They get it. They could be a little darker, but I get it. It's fine for what it is. It's a very solid, like, PG-13 horror for the most part. 80s gets away with the cheese because it's the 80s, man. It was big hair, cocaine, crazy canon films. Like, it's just what it is, and it will never come back to the greatness that it was. And like there were practical effects that had never been done before, movies you'd never seen, action movies coming bigger and better than ever. Like it was all about the entertainment, not necessarily about the quality. There are some great quality movies, but now we expect quality and entertainment. We have a higher expectation.
I have to say, for the one-man Unstoppable Army, that's not Michael. That's Jason. I hate to say it. I hate to be that guy, but that is Jason from Part 4 on.
Well, right, Rob Zombie's age 2 is Jason. Like, if you were to say Jason in that movie, it's Jason. The mom angle, I mean, if he had more of a family, if you want to put in Jason Goes to Hell, there's a family angle there. Like, it's Jason. I won't hear anything else. Like, I mean, delete, like, change everybody else's names, and it's Jason. But so we're waiting for Ends to come out and say that it's the worst one. So for me, Kills is not the worst. It's probably somewhere in the middle. We will do a subjective list and then objective, because I think we need to talk about both sides, because we have bias, right? What we saw, what
Absolutely.
we grew up with. But objectively, we also need to stand back and go, look, from a story, character, the legacy, like, we need to step back and also say, legitimately, like, we need to come up to as good of an agreement as we can, try to iron out an objective list, and then two subjectives.
Absolutely. Because what's funny is both your and I's opinions on different Halloween films, I mean, they're pretty similar in the top 3 slots, but outside of that, they get very different.
They do.
It's true. And that's fine. But it's also fine if they don't. Like, I mean, you know, I'm not actually poking a lot of fun at you, Jason, but my man, are you okay? Are you okay?
Dude, no, I love it, dude. I love that. At least for every quarter, there's other than Harvey Dent, there's the other side of the coin. Like, I do like that. At least if I don't get entertainment, at least the hard effort and work, even if I don't agree with it, at least that paid off for somebody. So that is cool. But because the movie doesn't, other than like ripping what I expected for kills because of what 2018 gave me, the movie doesn't offend me the way Rob Zombie's H2 does and the way H6 does. So I can get on board with both sides of the kills. Love it. I kind of get where you're talking about. Hate it. Everything you're going to say that you don't like, I'm probably going to get.
Real quick, so far with one viewing each, to give H Resurrection, though it's entertaining. So Resurrection over Kills. Ha.
Oh God!
But I haven't seen H3 yet. Halloween 3 is amazing, but the story on how it went was John Carpenter had to do Halloween 2 by the studio's advisement. He said, that's fine, but I want my anthology. He was trying to work on a horror anthology. And he wanted Halloween to be that. He wanted every Halloween movie to be a different story originally, not the Michael Myers story. He wanted the first Halloween to be that, second one to be something else, third to be something else. And then they gave him Halloween 3, and then it was marketed as the same thing, and then it wasn't.
Well, because they were going to expand on the, like I always talk about with H2, with the unconscious mind, with Sam Hain, with the evil of the Halloween night. They were going to expand on that, and it was more than Michael Myers. It was about the holiday. And then they just kind of dropped the ball, like because of bad marketing, because that's not what people wanted. But go into it knowing that it's 80s. It's very, very 80s. Go into it knowing
I love that.
It does not deserve to be in this franchise. Has nothing to do with the rest of the movies. It's not a Halloween franchise movie to me. It doesn't belong in the franchise, and you cannot argue that it does. It could have been had that been the route, but it's not, and it never will be probably. Well, Jason, it might be after this, but we'll see. This is interesting. Hang on. Hold on, this is big, Caleb. I gotta sink my claws into this comment. Hang on. I don't watch horror movies for the other characters, and as I can respect that, because horror movies are all about the kills, right? The entertainment of the kills. But there's also the flip side of that. When you care about the characters, like I was talking about with Cameron, you like him, you don't like him, and you feel that death. You know what I mean? There's ways to use it to where it makes them even more impactful. Also, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, a hero is only as good as its villain. A villain is only as good as its hero. Like Batman is only as good as what he's going up against, and he's got a lot of good villains. Spider-Man, same thing. When you get into certain superhero movies, and you're just watching Iron Man going up against another Iron Man, well, it's Tony Stark. Like, you have to figure out a reason, like PTSD, his chest piece isn't as good, like he's got an old one, like it's just not entertaining. Like, villains and heroes are really only as good as their opposites, for the most part. Not always required. But it depends on the quality and what you're going for. But yeah, I do love that comment, though. Yeah. It's a fine movie without being Halloween. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Finally got what I wanted. I want all my killers to be that. So rating these two. Came out of theater, so I have to get what I wanted. Well, I didn't. H6 is low too for me. H6 is top notch. No, would Busta being in Kills make it better? Absolutely.
It really would.
It would. Dude, if he showed up in that mob and like pulled that Freddy that pose, that'd have made the movie 10 times better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So Caleb, now this is hard because I normally say usually the first movie there is a movie in the franchise that's a 10. In this case, the original Halloween, 95+% of people would say is a 10 is probably the best of the franchise. So whatever is your 10, if it's not 78, you can pick a 10. I'm sure you have one. If the original 78 is a 10, 2018 on its own merits, what do you give? Because I wouldn't judge 4 off of 5. I wouldn't judge 5 off of 6. Like, well, on its own merits, what do you give 18?
I give it an 8.5.
Oh.
Yeah. It is a really, really, really good crack at a direct sequel.
Yeah.
The issue for me is A, the 40 years from now thing. B, the Dr. Sartain story arc going the way it did. And C would be the plot armor. Like, but at the same time, I like the fact that it's kind of chance and force that Laurie winds up against Michael again. Like, it's not a direct interaction. He's literally hand delivered to her. So that's kind of fun.
Each one is a one. Yeah. Get out of here.
Well, no, it's not. 2018 is a 9 for me. See, yeah, solid 8, 7 maybe for 18. So averaging above a 6 is not bad. Like
Right.
It's a really good entry in the franchise, and I stand by that. It's not my favorite.
Well, I'd say probably coming out of the theater, I was, especially even on a second watch, I was probably, I mean, like I said, one of the best scores of all time in the franchise, right? Like, it's got a solid mask. It's got a great Michael Myers. Like, it really does a good job of building the suspense with the investigative journalists. Like, with all that, like, it's just really got a great build. It's got a good ending with Karen. Like, everybody's got something to do. Like, it's got a good flow for the most part. Like, I would have said probably 9.5 coming out. I'm gonna say I'll leave it at 8.5 with you. I'll meet you right there. I think 8.5.
Yeah.
Certain things could have been tweaked. Like, there is a 9.5 there. I don't think this movie could have ever been a 10, but there is a 9.5 there, I think. Absolutely my favorite so far.
Shotgun.
Yeah, dude. Like, and that's when we did a thing. We did Does Michael Myers Kill Kids? And that kind of came up, and it's some people don't like it. There's a weird transition of, like, we even talk about, like, in today's world of, like, what makes you an adult. Like, when you're 18, but you can't drink. Like, but you can go to war. Like, but you can get student debt and car loans. Like, all this weird stuff when you turn 18. But are you really an adult? Like, but like, and then we go to Halloween. We talk about, like, well, but the kid had a gun. He was going hunting. He can, like, in this situation, if he had Michael Myers there and had to shoot him, he could probably shoot him. So it's like, no, he's not an adult, but he is a threat. So it's that weird little, like, where does this line, you know what I mean? Again, with a lot of things in life, there is some gray. And it depends on, like, John Connor was an awesome kid. Granted, he was trained his whole life, but still, no one was, sorry. Loved it, honestly. So Kills, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we don't have to know what happens and ends to like or hate Kills. I do think we are gonna get some more backstory to Michael. I think that's either gonna help us swallow that pill, because, like I've said, now that they've jumped the shark, I hope that they just stick a Acme rocket right in the back end of that shark on a ramp and just go full on Jackass Forever and shoot that thing up with confetti, man. I hope they just burn it down. Like, if we're going to go from 4 to 5 to 6 and just get wackier, I hope they burn it down like they did with Age 6, to where some people love it because it's so wacky and intense and mean and, like, and all that stuff. Like, that's, I'm kind of so defeated. I kind of hope that's what they do. So what do you give Kills? Knowing I know you don't like it, I'm going to guess you give Kills probably a 3.5, 4.
Actually, I was going to go 4.
Yeah.
I loathe 96% of this movie, but I love Michael in this movie.
Yeah.
So it sucks because I want to like it more. I really do. I've watched it a lot since I purchased it, trying to make myself enjoy it more. It's not working.
I like Deb's giving it a 6.5. Had some issues, but scary enough and scary fun. Yeah. Jabari's giving it a 3. Yeah. I mean, it seems like, I don't know. I hear a lot of people defend Kills that it just seems like, and then this is interesting because, and you guys tell me if you guys watch any other YouTubers, if you watch anybody else that talks about Halloween and really covers the holy bejesus out of it, do you feel like do what?
I know a few.
Right. Well, do you feel like they have a bias to love the movie and to give it a positive score because they've spent so much of their past 2 years, 3 years talking about it. I kind of believe that there's a subconscious bias in there. And then nothing against anybody else that watches the movie. I try to come at a movie from all angles. Granted, I get hung up on some stupid stuff. I will agree to you on that. I do. But that's where movies land or they don't land. Jason gave it a 10. He's giving it a 10. Wow. I mean, if you're there for the kills and for Austin Myers, I definitely see that as a 10. For me, I see all the problems and why Caleb gives it a 4. I see all the awesome stuff and why Jason gives it a 10. I'm gonna give the movie a 6 because I believe there is some good stuff in it. It was poor execution. I'm gonna give the movie just above a decent watch because if I really turn my brain off and just watch Myers, there is some fun to be had. There is some great kills. Michael's on his A game. Everybody else, it's not his fault. Michael shouldn't suffer. I'll give it a 6. I know it could drop. I don't know. I felt this way that the movie would go up a little bit, but really though, the problems I have with it are only going to get worse. Michael is going to get a little bit better, but the problems I have with it are only going to get worse.
Yep. I don't know. It's sad, but I put we'll get there to the rankings, but man, yeah.
Can you read that bottom one, Caleb? Sorry, it's a little, I have no
bias because it's first viewing for each one so far. My score is locked in before we discuss each week. And that's kind of cool too. Like, you know, this being a bunch of first views for you, being able to walk in and just go through a franchise for the first time. It's neat to see like a person getting their first exposure, how they would rank a franchise, especially one that's so grounded with fans over so many generations. I don't know. This movie just misses on too many levels.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like, it's taking depending on the budget, the time, the effort, what they had, COVID, all this other stuff. Like, there are ways. Like, the more you research a movie, I hope I get people when I talk about movies. I hope you like the movie more. I hope anything that I like makes you like the movie more. I would hate to have you like movies less just because I didn't like a movie, because that just kind of sucks. I don't want to lessen your entertainment in the world. But the problem is too, man, and this kind of makes me nervous, right? That the more as fans we become, we allow mediocre to be okay. You know what I mean? Like with our money, with buying stuff, and I got it right there. I'm not the biggest fan of kills, but I'm a big fan, so I want it. But like,
I've got it over there. Yeah.
But allowing expectations to be lowered is dangerous. It just is. Giving like Deb said earlier with like the plot armor stuff like that, you can't always give your final girl plot armor when they're in the thick of it all the time. Like it just needs to flow. It just needs to flow. Like there's becoming, like when we talk about Prey, there's becoming this thing where like there's one side that hates it because they can only see what they want to call is a negative, and then there's the other side that's just diehard because they have to defend it because they like it, and they're like, this is dumb because you think this is dumb based on these stupid factors. But there is a scary thing.
I would like to get a Predator movie where the Predator walks out once.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was just saying that to Brittany not too long ago. Yeah, I want a Predator to win. Like, he should win. But there is a scary thing between expectations and execution. And, Disney's a target just because they don't shy away from it. And that's fine. That's okay. But it's one of those things, too, where, like, if you need to be open to criticism if it warrants criticism. When you are rolling out with your B teams, with your She-Hulks, with the daughter of Hawkeye, with Captain America and the Winter Soldier, with whatever leftover Spider-Man can do with Endgame and still having to be in flow and stuff like that, like when you're really rolling out with your B team, Loki, WandaVision, all that stuff, like you have to be open up to criticism and not just say, look, you didn't like the movie because it's a B-list character, or it's a female character, or it's this, that, and the other thing. Like sometimes, man, if you put less effort, less money, if you stretch people's attention for that long, you need to be kind of open to criticism too. Like we are seeing the downfall of Marvel because it's very formulaic, and now they're putting out their B team with their C effort. So it's it's just interesting looking at some of that. So with Kills, I don't think it was a C effort. I think they just dropped the ball. I think it was just poor execution. That doesn't really necessarily feed into the rest of that stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I need to buy some final actors, females, whatever it is. I need to buy it. It can't just happen all the time. But anyway, Swallow is
fine. Other movies in the franchise are better. Yeah, the first one.
Yeah. Praise solid though for what they had. It is a great movie, and arguably it's one of the best like stories and flows in the entire franchise. Like, it just is. Like I don't know what to tell you. You get it, or yeah. I just don't understand how you don't like Age of Ultron. Like I do understand some of it, but I don't understand it. Maybe it's because I watched the movie too much because it's the only movie I had downloaded to my little iPod or whatever. That maybe I just watched it so much that I just conditioned myself to like it. I don't know. I don't know. I do agree that Ultron kind of sucks and he wasn't used well, but the Avengers themselves were pretty awesome. Like,
I do have to say, at some point, I kind of want to do a like a top 10 movies of all time, because I feel like we've kind of covered franchises and different genres, but like an all-time list. I think that would be interesting to see, and I keep thinking of random movies that I don't talk about, like Menace to Society.
oh,
That is a great film that is underappreciated, I think. I know it's part of the Criterion Collection now, but it's not talked about a lot.
right.
I would say, there's greats, of course, like the original Rambo. I don't know. I feel like at some point we need to cover that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's see. 1 and 2 and Predators are better. Yeah, I love Predators. I understand that the end gets a little rinse and repeat from the first movie, but Stockholm Syndrome, I do kind of wonder if that's part of it. Like when you hear a movie that you liked for the most part, didn't live up to the first Avengers, but I wonder if you do hear a movie that you kind of like, if everybody bashes it so hard that maybe you defend it, or you're just so confused that you like it a little bit more. I do kind of wonder if there's a little bit of that going in there. But I love the Hulkbuster fight scene. Awesome. The beginning fight scene with like language and like the twins and that was a good talk. No, it wasn't. Like, like the twins are creepy and cool. Like, I don't know. I agree with some of the faults of the movie, but I just don't understand people bash it so hard.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My First Blood is my least favorite of the franchise. Over, like, the new one was god awful, terrible. Oh,
the new one was a stupid turn your brain off action movie that didn't fit in the franchise.
Just doesn't.
The one before that was brutal. That one was good.
Yeah, oh yeah. Rambo Straight Up, like 2007, is amazing. Well, that's the thing though. Like, you take like the first 1, 2, 3, redemption, serving your time, like living with the pain of all that and stuff like that. Like, it works for those movies. And then detaching yourself completely from the world and going to Thailand, like all that, like the brutality of once again being pent up and like fighting who you are, having to save these people who wanted to do a good thing. And at the end of the movie, he goes back home to reconcile his family, to start again. And then you give him a niece, and then you just ruin all the victory of 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you just Rambo, like it's just bad, terrible movie. Never seen Rambo movies. Oh my God! How have you
I have
never
to
seen
say,
Rambo?
First Blood and 4, in my opinion, are the best ones to watch. I haven't watched 2 and 3 in forever because they like First Blood is a honest to goodness good film. 2
Great.
and 3 play on the 80s action goof a little too much for what First Blood was, in my opinion. Rambo 4 is the dark child of the franchise and in a good way. And then the latest one was
Dude, Rambo 2 is like it's like T1 and T2 almost, right? But it's like Stallone took his pre-workout, got jacked out of his mind, snorted cocaine, and then said, "We're gonna blow the entire jungle up." Like Rambo 2 is awesome. I think it is a little over the top and it is very 80s. I freaking love, and it's a great flow from 1 and 2. I love Rambo 2. 3 for its time was the most expensive movie of all time up until like when it was made. That's crazy to think that. Lots of practical effects, explosions, a different setting. Once again, talking about all that torture and torment and all that stuff. Like it's awesome. And then 4 just is its own beast. It stands on its own. It's awesome. I love 4 so much. Trying not to spoil too much for Deb, but and then 5 is like, oh, I've seen Taken. Oh, I've seen John Wick. Hey, let's be those movies. You're not those movies. You're Rambo. You set the tone. You don't follow the pace. Like, come on. It's either 2 or 3 on my list. 4 is so amazing. Super good. Super action minus superheroes isn't my preferred genre. Yeah. I mean, you could basically say by Rambo 3, he's a superhero.
So I would have to agree. So I do like action movies that have a legitimate plot. I will argue Terminator 2. I will argue Rambo First Blood. But I do not argue Delta Force. I do not argue, it's just there's a difference between an action film with a purpose and an action film for the sake of being an action film. And those I don't really like as much. Is there some entertainment? Absolutely, of course. Do I take them seriously? Not even a little bit. It's just a different kind of film. Do I respect it for what it is? Sure. But do I go out of my way to watch them? No.
Dude, Commando makes me think of like Hot Shots, where they're just like shooting people and they're like swinging off of trampolines. Like there's not that much distance from Commando to Hot Shots. Like they're taking serious Commando and then Hot Shots.
I will say there's a difference also when you have a favorite actor or actress, and Arnold is it for me. So Commando gets a pass.
Oh, dude, Commando
because Arnold's my favorite actor.
Dude, they got Jason getting some love in there with Commando, dude. Yeah, it's fantastic, dude. Look, talking about Hot Shots. Talking about Hot Shots, man. How big did Charlie Sheen get for that role? You know, as a kid, I never really respected it. I like, damn, like he's actually he's beefy. Like he's beefier than Patterson. And then I like Danny Glover, dude. I just watched for the first time with Brittany. She watched for the first time. We watched Predator 2 on 4K, and I said, "Look, this is gonna be a take it or leave it movie. You're either gonna get it and love it, or you're gonna like see it for what it is. You know what I mean? And you're not gonna like it." But Danny Glover has a spot where he's changing shirts. Danny Glover, like I know we talk about like Arnold to Danny Glover. Danny Glover was in good shape, and he's actually pretty tall. Like people undercut Danny Glover in Predator 2. I just wanted to say that.
I feel like they do with the Lethal Weapon series as well, but he's a fit guy. I love Arnold, but Stallone edges him out for me. No, not even a little. It's gratuitous. Same reason I don't like extra gory movies like Hostel. Yes, but I like Hostel.
Yeah, so
problems.
The difference between Arnold, Arnold and Sly are both lovable characters. Arnold, I think that Arnold is a good mold for anything. Like he just gets in there and gets it done. But I think Sly has more a dynamic, dramatic, I think he'll take on some lower end roles. Like, I mean, Arnold did too with like Maggie and some other stuff. But I have a Arnold is the king. I respect Sly a lot. It's just hard to say. Like, I respect Sly a lot, but I understand Arnold's the king. Like,
I prefer Van Damme over all of them.
I do love me some Van Damme. I do love me some Van Damme.
He's absolutely fine until he opens his mouth in public. Oh my God.
Yeah, he never lived up to his full potential, unfortunately.
He didn't have much. I mean, based on some of the things I've seen that he said, there wasn't a lot going on in there.
Yeah. Another thing, Caleb, I was wondering, like, I wanted to talk about, because you and I both struggle when it comes to supernatural, with ghost stories, with stuff like that. Like, a supernatural slasher we can get on board with, right? But it does kind of lean into the thing we don't like. The Unstoppable is just not really that interesting, right? So I think that was also part of why we didn't like Kills. It goes to that corner we don't really want to see anymore.
Yeah, I also think that's part of the perks as of, I would say, the past like 5-ish years for me with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, because these characters aren't in necessarily the supernatural. I mean, in a couple of movies you can get weird with it, but overall it's just people. It's people. And Wolf Creek, it's people. Saw, it's people. And I think
Vacancy.
People.
Dude,
Vacancy.
I just rewatched Vacancy. Vacancy is, you want to talk about underappreciated? Oh my God. That movie is amazing.
That movie is brilliance. And it's sad that it gets passed over so much. That is a rough movie to watch.
Oh, I love it. It's intense from start to finish, man. Bloodsport is my favorite movie. Dude, I respect that so much. If you are to knock and show me the democ, and like he's got to bust the brick, and like with him doing the splits, and then like they're playing video games, he's like, you want to play games? Like, yeah. Like the quarter in the hand, the fight scenes, like the screaming when he gets in, like everything about Bloodsport from start to finish is epic. Deb says take Kindergarten Cop and Jingle All the Way. Dude, those are amazing. I would actually raise you Twins, but I think I'm very nostalgic for Twins, but I do love Kindergarten Cop. When she's laying there, she's got the food poisoning, or she's got the morning sickness or whatever, and she's like, don't, like, take the gun off, and he's like, oh yeah, and she's like, on second thought, keep the gun. Like, Arnold's so good. Like, boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. There's so much good stuff in those movies, and Jingle All the Way is phenomenal. Dude, how did Sinbad, who was awesome, go with Arnold and not become a mega, like, he was a star, don't get me wrong, but how did he not go A-list? He never could crack A-list. I love Sinbad, and I miss that dude. Man, have you ever seen, now here's a movie that's super underappreciated. The Cherokee Kid with Sinbad is probably a solid 9. I freaking love that Western.
I haven't seen much about Sinbad since I was a kid. I remember watching his stand-up, and I think that's the direction he was trying to go, was more into a stand-up comedy, and that's what happened. Yeah. He also probably just made enough money to live comfortably for a long time. I mean,
I've loved him ever since.
I'd do the same thing.
Yeah. Dude, I've loved him ever since A Different World, when he was in like the first 3-4 seasons. I love A Different World. It's such a good show. It's a spinoff of The Cosby Show. It's so amazing. Dude, I own The Cherokee Kid, man. Dude, I think that DVD is expensive. I don't think they have it on Blu-ray, dude. So that's amazing. House Guest is awesome. Love that. First Kid is awesome. Man, why Sinbad couldn't just make A-list and just crush it? It kills me to this day, man. Dude, Cherokee Kid. I'm so happy. Yes, Jason. Yes. My child and husband, damn it, I can't read it. Didn't appreciate it. Was my favorite growing up. Didn't like Jingle All the Way? How do you not like Jingle All the Way?
I like it. It's solid. It was one of my favorites when I was little.
He's also great in Necessary Roughness. Yeah, the football movie with the gal and the kicker, and yeah, dude, that's a good movie too. That's good stuff. He's gold in everything. Is he in a bad movie? They thought it was Boring? Oh,
You know,
God, you guys are killing me.
a Christmas movie that doesn't get talked about enough, The Ref.
The Ref is good. It really is good. Regardless
Dennis
of Kevin
Leary.
Spacey, it is a really good movie.
Yes. God, I love that movie.
Yeah.
And every year I forget about it, and then it hits like January, February, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't watch The Ref.
Oh, great movie. Great movie. Well, guys, hey, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. It was a lot of fun. We covered a lot of ground in the franchise just because it all built to 18 and to Kills. Like the rise and fall of the franchise, and they knew it. They had to go back, and it would have been interesting to see what would happen had they not got John Carpenter and Cody Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis. But we got what we got. I would have rather, just like with Scream, I think Scream will be better off without Sidney because it's just going to be rinse and repeat if we don't. Same thing with this. I'll be ready for the next iteration. We'll see. Are we doing H3 next week? I think we could do H3 and maybe a mask ranking maybe or something like that. We'll talk about it. Maybe H3. I'd be down for that. Kills is a freaking 10. Don't you forget it, man. It does make me feel better about the movie that other people like it. And like I said, it doesn't offend me like some of the other movies do. So it could creep up. We'll have to see. Thanks again, guys. I think that's it. I got a couple customized videos I want to throw up just for giggles because my hobbies, and I just kind of want to share it. If you find it interesting, check that out. Again, we've got lots of stuff, over 150 videos. Check out those. If you do us a favor and like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, I appreciate it. We'll be back soon so you can get some more R&R. Until next time, bye-bye.
Peace.